So we've come to the conclusion that the government has been shut down. Which,
No.
Well, it has been shut down. I mean, that's what it says on paper and whatnot. But anyways,
The tears.
yeah, it's very sad, and I don't know how I'll get home here from the studio. But
No roads.
No roads. I don't know how my Corolla will make it, but I will definitely give it a shot. It is a joke. You're right. But what if I want to go to the Smithsonian and look at Fonzie's jacket? Am I allowed to do that?
No.
I can't go to the Smithsonian and look at Archie Bunker's chair.
Interesting, the Smithsonian has a $1 billion endowment of donations given by citizens, voluntarily donations.
So they're non-essential, but the guy who fills me up when I'm over at the airport, that guy's essential?
This is true.
Okay.
But it's interesting that you mentioned the Smithsonian because that's got voluntary money that people have voluntarily given. And by the way, without government, those people would give even more, and the Smithsonian would still be open, just like the Metropolitan Museum and other good museums are open.
All right. So other good museums, or what do you mean?
Well,
what about Isabel? That's private, right? The Gardner Museum.
Yes.
Okay.
So Harvard University, the Metropolitan Museum in New York, the Boston Museum of Fine Art, these museums are paid for by citizens voluntarily.
Okay.
Then government, your typical national park, is paid for involuntary by tax dollars, where they take and threaten you, and if you don't pay them, you go to jail.
What if I want to go to Yellowstone and look at the geyser?
Can't do it.
Can't do it?
Right.
Can't even get past there.
Right. Government gone out of their way to block it off, so you can't get out.
It's a big park. I can get
And it was there before government.
Right, it was there before government. Grand Canyon?
Same thing, blocked off.
All right, so what's the solution? What do you think? What do you think that we should, who's essential, who's non-essential to you, in your opinion?
All right, so we could privatize those parks and operate them the same way that the Metropolitan Museum and Harvard and other private groups operate. And if people like them enough, and people do like the Grand Canyon, and actually Grand Canyon actually makes money, so they shut it down to save money, it actually makes money.
It's profitable.
So does Ellis Island. Yeah, people actually pay admission, and those parks actually make money. So anybody would want that. I mean, any private company would want to run that. So you could privatize these, and you could have very healthy nonprofit organizations where the things are protected, just like these other examples that are private, like the Metropolitan Museum. They do a fine job. They don't need government money to do it.
So who should we take out as far as non-essential, in your opinion?
All right, so we need to cut down government dramatically. Most of the non-essential people we don't really need. But it's interesting. We could switch it up. So there's I think 9.2 million people that are considered essential, and then there's 800,000. We could almost switch it up. Let those 800,000 stay, and then furlough the other ones. Then we'd get rid of the NSA and the TSA and the spying and the foreign wars and the aggression and the Patriot Act, and all we'd have is national parks and NASA and spaceships and cool stuff. That'd be better. Still not ideal. I'm not serious.
Right.
But it'd be better. The ideal would be to scale back government in general. There are a few essential services of government, enforcement of contracts, some defense, real defense, not going over to other countries and starting wars and killing innocent people, actual defense. And you could put a lot more power into the hands of citizens, and you need less government that way. Even something as essential as the military, okay? If we stopped invading other countries and bombing people and creating terrorists all over the world with very, very aggressive actions, we'd be a lot safer. And if we embraced our Second Amendment and we had a more robust reserve force, and we could have voluntary, people, if we were ever faced with a real threat, somebody coming over here and invading us, not somebody over there that we want to go after.
I think we would see them coming.
Yeah, we'd probably be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really going to invade America?
No.
Especially if we had even more Second Amendment. I mean, we have a lot of personal firearms. For somebody to actually invade and take cities and occupy, we don't even think in those terms anymore because we're so used to being foreign aggressors and starting trouble all over the world. We don't even think in terms of what is our real actual defense. Defense, not offense, but actual defense. What is our real danger of saying, oh my goodness, Boston, they just took Boston, we got to retreat down to Providence. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Al-Qaeda's not going to take a city. What's that?
I don't want to go to Providence.
You don't want to go to Providence? Well, you better hope that Al-Qaeda doesn't take Boston.
Yeah, I hope not. That would be pretty scary. If you
In the
think about it.
history of, we laugh, but in the history of warfare, that's how you measure it. Can you blockade ports? Can you take territories? Can you take cities? Yeah, it's not going to happen.
laughable even during this government shutdown. It's so
Right.
laughable. But that's what people think. Like, I would say 25, maybe more percent of the population is like, oh, government shutdown, they're going to invade us.
Right.
How screwed up is that?
Yeah. Even
That's
when
insane.
it's well, they haven't shut down the military,
Right.
and a very
But they think that. That's the impression that the government wants to give.
only a small piece of the military is even really defending us. And I feel bad for those people because you have people say, oh, if you don't think that they're defending us, you're not supporting the troops. Absolutely the opposite. If you take troops who take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution, and you send them to do something that is not protecting and defending the Constitution, you're the one with the problem.
What do you think? Chime in.